2 strikers starting, 2 strikers scoring, and 2 3-1 wins in a row. Queen's Park Rangers made it back-to-back victories away at Wrexham on Saturday for the first time since January this year, and boy is there plenty for us to discuss. I'm Connor aka Hoopser, I talk all things QPR, and in this match reaction I'm going to be chatting through all of the key moments from this second Rangers win in a row. If you enjoyed this reaction, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and let's dive straight in. The big question before this match was how Julian Stephan would go about backing up his first Hoops win, a display which saw him cast the kind of laboured and terrifying playing from the back that causes you to ship 7 from home into the fire and pull out a direct long ball system that is coming hurtling back into fashion at a rapid pace, as further evidenced by Thomas Tuchel's England against Serbia just 4 days prior to this trip to Wales. The Frenchman insisted after Charlton this wasn't a permanent evolution. He doubled down on that to Loft for Words earlier in the week, insisting his focus is on the little details and adapting to the profile of both our players and the opponent. And with 3 changes made to his pre-international break winning side for this fixture, adaptation was therefore exactly what we saw. The first was seemingly out of his hands, the much called for return of Paul Nardi becoming a reality as a result of Joe Walsh sustaining a wrist fracture in training last week. For me, it is ultimately a change that needed to happen sooner rather than later to protect Walsh from a challenging start to the season. It's just a shame it's one that came about in such unfortunate circumstances. Hopefully it gives him time to reflect and learn from that start and he heals up ASAP. Koki Saito meanwhile came in for his permanent full debut in place of Karamoko Dembele following his electric game winner from the bench against Charlton, while Rumarn Burrell was also swapped in for the injured Paul Smith following his cherry on top assist of Richard Kone. Meaning for the first time in a long time, Queen's Park Rangers started with 2 strikers on the pitch at the very same time. To make things even more far-fetched, we even had a third senior striker on the bench in the shape of Mickey Frey, enhancing what is already looking a much richer set of substitutes than what we started with. Now, while Wrexham had most of the match's initial chances in the first 15 or so, we saw the merits of fielding such an attacking side within the first 20 seconds. Burrell's pressure on the home side's backline ending the game of head tennis the match commenced with, and this time right winger Harvey Vale playing the striker immediately into open space, only for James McLean to deny both of his attempts to cut it back. Wrexham's own live and direct play style caused the early danger though, first with Nardi punching away Lewis O'Brien's post-corner ball on 4 minutes and McLean's rebound into the ground bouncing wide to the right, before a criminally free Kiefer Moore caused a penalty area scramble with his back post nod on a few minutes later. An even more direct ball in behind to O'Brien caused further problems on 12 minutes, his cutback taking Amadou Mabenge out of the equation and Moore's Kone-inspired dummy leaving Ryan Longman free for a shot in the area, but Nicholas Madsen got an important block in before Matty James dragged his shot from range wide this time to the left. When Rangers finally got a few more passes going though, things started to get closer to clicking. Kone reattempted the dummy trick himself on 16 minutes after a beautiful flick round the corner to Burrell, but couldn't quite find Saito in the process. While the Japanese winger took his side's first shot at goal a few minutes later, when Vale stole the ball from a cumbersome McLean outside the area and cut it back only for Arthur Okonkwo to react well at his bottom left corner. On 25 minutes, after yet more excellent link-up play from Burrell and Vale down the right forced a corner, Jimmy Dunn finally appeared to have broken the deadlock until his stab into the back of the net was rightly ruled offside. Thankfully, it wasn't the chance that QPR would end up ruining, because for almost the entirety of the remaining first half, it was now the away side that were on top, and it was Burrell that remained at the heart of it. Jonathan Varane, Vale and the Jamaican forward linked up smoothly immediately after the disallowed goal before another powerful Saito strike forced the keeper into action once more, and Burrell was at it again a few minutes later with only Max Clayworth denying a 1-2 with Kone that surely would have been goal bound. And while the eventual first official Ars goal on 33 minutes would be chalked down as a Conor Coady own goal, it was once again down to the former Burton striker's relentless work ethic as he followed up Kone's loose left-footed shot and was duly rewarded with a deflection off of the defender's knee. Rangers remained largely on top as half-time approached, Kone having a shot blocked and Burrell pulling a promising effort wide, but the Super Hoops of course still nearly found time twice for their habitual post-lead capitulation when another ball over the top got the better of our backline, Ryan Hardy inches wide of levelling past Nardi on 38 minutes, and Longman missing a terrifying square ball from Moore a minute later. But on this occasion, the Rs avoided reverting to type, and for the first time in the Championship this season, they went 2-0 up thanks to a King Kone goal that has almost cemented my early belief that he will not be a QPR player for very long. The reality is though, it was a beautiful team goal that started from the back. Nardi might not come for crosses, and that is an issue of its own, but he's exceptionally comfortable with the ball at his feet, and that gives us the option to go both short and long. In the 44th minute, he shows short to Morrison, the Scotsman worked it to Vale, and Vale smartly snapped it inwards first time to Madsen. The Dane, in what was one of his finest all-round showings so far, slid it cutely in behind for Kone, who steered it coolly around Coady before absolutely rifling it in off the crossbar. If there was a single QPR fan on this planet that wasn't convinced by this guy already, there isn't now. 22 years old, 3 Rangers goals to his name from 3 shots on target, and he's barely arrived through the door. Make the most of him while he's here, get his name on the back of your shirt while you can, because this guy's going to the very top, and it's frankly a miracle he's even ours on the way there. Wrexham rounded out the half trying to pull one back, Dunn making it well known to Nardi what he thinks about his refusal to leave his line to claim a routine ball, but Rangers made it to half time unscathed, in control, and in largely unfamiliar territory. Matters did reverse to their early game order once again after the break though, with Wrexham commanding possession and efforts in an attempt to get back into the points. Varane started the second half with his by now trademark slip on his arse shot from range, but before long the Red Dragons did start to more continually inquire once more about a goal of their own, Hardy having a go of his own from distance and forcing Nardi's first proper save on 47 minutes before Moore had his header deflected over the bar shortly after. I thought Rangers were much better in the air in this game, but as time wore on, there were only so many crosses and corners they could take before a goal back became a reality. McLean went close on 59 minutes until Nardi sprung upon his shot at the back post, and Clayworth forced the returning keeper into action once again 3 minutes later in the aftermath of another corner. It was always going to be Inform Moore to score though, his glancing header on 67 minutes halving the deficit from a delicious in-swinging corner ball from O'Brien. Stefan reached for his first changes shortly after, Dembele and Escudina replacing Saito and Reece Norrington-Davies, but this time it wasn't the head coach's adaptations that put Rangers back in control, but of course, once again, Rumarn Burrell on 75 minutes. With that said, we mustn't understate the importance of Dunn in this goal too. Firstly, because his vital block of Longman's high-rising header a minute prior to 3-1 stopped a dangerously close attempt at a leveller, and second because his clearance come De Bruyne-esque assist upfield to Burrell gave the striker one last chance to switch on the burners, which he gladly did, bursting past Coady and calmly chipping the keeper to restore his side's 2-goal lead. It's ludicrous really that having had to watch countless shocking strikers over the past decade that we've seemingly landed 2 extremely promising ones at the exact same time. Kone's tally and excellent finish have rightly got their plaudits, but Burrell was my man of the match and they're going to cause defences countless problems this season together if they continue to start alongside one another. Frey then made his way on in place of Burrell straight after and tried his own heroics within minutes of joining the pitch with an ambitious shot from range, but look, at 3-1 even Nardi can have a pop as far as I'm concerned. Most importantly, that third goal successfully put Wrexham off of their stride. The chances depleted, the crosses threatened less, and Rangers finally restored control as Isaac Hayden and Sam Field joined the pitch in place of Vale and Madsen to see out the game. There could have even been a 4th Rangers goal when Hayden classily simultaneously mopped up a loose midfield ball and played a first time through ball to Dembele to put him 1-on-1, but the chip Kone had started celebrating before I think even Caddy knew what he was going to do with it, cruelly hit the right hand post. Wrexham kept on going in the dying minutes, Sheaf and Moore reeling off shots in the box on 86 minutes, but Nardi and his backline stayed resolute to see out the win. What a result, and honestly, what a turnaround from just a few weeks ago. This team is thankfully starting to show some really promising signs of starting to gel. Multiple players are shining individually, and somehow we've still got Elias Chair, Kwame Poku, and maybe even Jake Clark-Salter to come into this matchday squad, though at this rate, I don't actually know where they even fit. I've waxed lyrical about the strikers, but Saito was everywhere, and Vale looked like a real creative force, and despite the fact that he played on the wing, he looked like he could potentially be that thread that links back to front with his part to play in the opening goal. This Varane and Madsen partnership is shaping up very nicely too, Varane able to do the dirty work in the 6, and Madsen being pushed into that more progressive box-to-box role that we know he has the technical ability to succeed in. Hopefully we can keep this run going at the weekend, and who knows where we can go from there. Anyway, that's all from me, it's over to you now. What did you think of this performance? Who stood out to you? Let me know it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning in for this match reaction. If it's your first time and you've liked what you've seen, please consider hitting like and subscribe, and maybe I'll see you in the next one for my Stoke City match preview. Cheers!